Alright, I have quite a bit of interesting lore for you today. Over the last few months, I've probably skimmed through the Dragon Ball manga tens of times while researching and collecting panels for videos. Over the course of that, I've noticed quite a few little details that I think would be quite interesting to talk about. That of course being the intended colors for our characters. There's a few pretty well-known issues in this regard, like how the anime made Goku's gi a lot redder than it was supposed to be, or the complicated debacle with Bulma and Trunks' ever-shifting purple and blue hair, which I'll get more in detail with in a bit. But there's quite a few very interesting discoveries I've made that I think a large portion of you will find quite interesting. Before we dive into all the little color intricacies, there's a few things I need to go over so we're all on the same page. The colors I will be talking about today are from the Kanzenban release of the manga. Back when Dragon Ball was being made, it originally was released in the Weekly Shonen Jump, and in that original release, Akira Toriyama would occasionally produce full color pages instead of black and white. There were usually two different kinds of color pages, those being limited palette, where he would only use a few colors, most predominantly being red, while alternatively, he would sometimes go all out and do full color pages, where everything is assumedly being colored accurately. In this video, we will mostly talk about the full color pages, as they are seemingly the original intended colors for our characters. It's worth noting that when Dragon Ball was printed in volume form, it came out in the Tankobon release, which didn't print in color. As a result, many fans are unaware of these color pages, but the much later released Kanzenban would restore them. That being where I'm getting them from. My other source for color is the Daizenshu 1, which features many illustrations done by Akira Toriyama that don't feature in the manga itself, mostly being images that would have appeared on the cover of Weekly Shonen Jump. And finally, my last disclaimer is there is one other release of the manga that came out years later, that being the digital color version of the manga. Often when I bring up color pages from Dragon Ball, people assume they're from this release. Well, they're not. All of the colors I'm going to talk about today are from the original run of the manga. And finally, to try and alleviate some of the comments about this, you may have seen people talking about an interview where Toriyama said he doesn't really think too hard about the colors and just grabs whatever color he has available. I've tried to look into this, and this is what I was able to find. He literally says that it's unintentional. It's not that he lacks the paint or arbitrarily decides to change the color. He basically said that he doesn't go back and check, so sometimes he makes mistakes. Okay, so with that in mind, let's dive into the confusing colors of Dragon Ball. But first, I've heard along the grapevine that if you hit the like or subscribe buttons, they change color. Alright, so first things first, Bulma's hair. Upon opening the first page of the story, oh, it's blue. And even going further in, it's still blue. Not to mention, while it's not blue in the limited palette sections, it kinda looks blue to me. It's not until chapter 3 that we actually get purple hair Bulma. Looking at all this, it's not at all surprising to me that the anime thought her hair was supposed to be blue. I wouldn't be surprised if Toriyama himself originally intended for it to be blue, but changed his mind later. Now while Bulma's hair fluctuates, we also have another confusing case with Goku's gi. You all know that Goku's original gi was blue, right? Well, that appears to be the case at the start of the manga, but quickly after that, and in most color pages, Goku's gi is usually colored in with orange. I'm not sure why this was the case. It's possible Toriyama changed his mind, similarly to with Bulma, but this one is a bit more confusing. While we see orange a lot more, including even his appearance on the cover of the first volume, we also do still see blue occasionally on some later illustrations. Not to mention, in the black and white portions, we see Goku's clothes are inked in black, while his later canonically orange gi wouldn't be filled in and would remain white. So my best guess is he originally wanted to change Goku's gi to orange, and just did it, but then later on, when he had Roshi give Goku a new outfit, he just made that one officially orange, and retroactively decided that the old one could stay blue. But that's just my speculation. Speaking on that orange outfit Roshi gave Goku, that is the single biggest color mistake in the series, because the anime took the red color from the limited palette section and made that the color of the Turtle School gi in the anime. While in the manga, whenever we see it in a full color section, it appears as the much lighter orange that we expect from Goku later on. Along with Goku's outfit being depicted incorrectly in the anime, the same applies to Jackie Chun. His outfit is fully inked in, making it look black. But we would eventually see it on a Shonen Jump cover, and there, it's revealed to be blue, making the black version from the anime incorrect. The anime wouldn't actually start until the manga was around the Red Ribbon Army arc, so it's not like the official colors of the manga hadn't been revealed yet, so who knows why they did what they did. Similarly to Jackie Chun, the iconic outfit you think of when I say Master Roshi actually never appears in color at any point in the manga. The only time we get colors for that outfit is on a Shonen Jump cover, and on said cover, he wears orange pants with a green top. Moving on, we get to see Tao Pai Pai in a cover image, primarily in pink, and the anime clearly based its color scheme on this illustration. The problem with that is it's clearly a limited palette page. Much later during the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, we would get our only full color page to include Tao, and on said page, he wears a much oranger outfit with green arms. Along with Tao, we get General Red with red hair in a limited palette section early on, but then later in full color, we get a white-haired General Red, which is weird, since he could have just kept the hair white in the limited palette section. Seems to me like he likely forgot. Moving on to the fortune teller Baba portion, Baba herself consistently has white hair in the manga, not purple. On a color page, we see that Krillin's Orin Temple outfit is actually orange, with blue pants, which isn't what the anime went with. But that's tame compared to Master Roshi, because in the non-color pages, we see Roshi is wearing a light top with dark pants, but then on the color page, he's wearing Jackie Chun's full blue. Following him, we get his original student Gohan, and he has green arms in the manga that the anime would change to black. Goku then goes to get the last Dragon Ball from Pilaf, and we see that the Pilaf machine is orange. The anime changed this, and color coordinated each piece with their respective pilot, which I kinda like this one. Good call, anime. Back on Papaya Island, we see a return of Jackie Chun, and he's still wearing blue, not black, and alongside him is Ten Shinhan with purple pants. If you keep up with my community posts, then you would know that I talked about this a little while ago. This one, along with one other that we'll get to, really sparked me to make this video in the first place. Because, despite his purple pants that would be adapted into the anime, Toriyama would change his mind and make them green in the next color section. Now, unlike Kid Goku's blue versus orange, both green and purple would be filled in with black in non-color pages, so we can't really use that for a distinction here. Now, in the Piccolo arc, we can talk about a pretty well-known one, that being Piccolo's orange arms, which are consistent throughout all of his appearances. But in the anime, when he restored his youth, they turn pink, representing his restored vitality. However, in the manga, they remain orange. Along with Piccolo, his minions are depicted in all green in the anime, but in the manga, we see that Drum has a beige stomach. Now for a pretty fun one. This is Master Karin's first color appearance, and he's blue with some white spots. Now, this is pretty weird, because blue is normally filled in with black in the non-color pages, but Karin was always all white. Assuming the funniest possible way this happened, Toriyama might have confused Karin with Puar, but I guess it's possible that this is an intentional reference. However, we get 2 more color pages of Karin in the manga, firstly being on that long image you get when you put all of the volumes together on a shelf. You know what color Karin is there? That's right, blue. But I did say 2 more. What about the other one? Well, obviously they finally fixed his colors, right? Well, yes. He's finally brown. What? That's not what you were expecting? So yeah. Moving on to the third tournament, we see Goku with a black undershirt and belt in the anime. However, in the manga, we see that they were actually blue the entire time. And with that, Goku's outfit essentially stays exactly the same for the rest of the series, with one notable exception. Goku's boots change quite a bit. At first they look black, and this happens a few times, but I don't think they were ever supposed to be black. I think they were just supposed to have a leathery texture that makes them look darker while still being blue. But in this initial picture, they also have red lines with a yellow ankle tie. Then, on a volume cover, we see them as blue with white lines and a yellow ankle tie. Then, 2 volumes later, they finally reach their final form, being blue with red lines and a yellow tie. Huh, was Piccolo supposed to have red eyes? Now, of course, the anime has to throw their hat in the mix, having a completely different appearance, having yellow lines with a red tie. I have a theory about this. Because the anime changed Goku's orange gi to red, they might have not wanted the red lines on Goku's boots to overlap with his red outfit, so they swapped the red and yellow. And finally, Piccolo Jr. maintains the orange arm bits from his father, but the anime would continue to make them pink. Speaking of the anime, on to Z. Now, firstly, during the transition to Z, they fix a major mistake, that being the red Turtle School gi. It's finally orange, but the boot colors are still backwards. Along with that, we see the Piccolo as purple blood in the fight with Raditz. Last arc we gave him red blood, but the manga never actually had a color page to include Piccolo's blood. Notably, his pseudo-brother Drum had purple blood, so it makes sense Piccolo himself would have the same. Now another thing from this section is Piccolo is now wearing black with a purple belt, opposed to purple with the red belt that we're used to. This is quite similar to King Piccolo's outfit, so Toriyama might have just forgotten that he gave Piccolo Jr. a different color scheme here. And in that same section, we get what inspired me to make this video, Son Gohan. In this section, we see that Gohan's outfit is all green, opposed to the yellow with a red hat and green arms from the anime. Then, alternatively to that, we get two illustrations of Goku and Gohan on the cover of Weekly Shonen Jump, and in both, Gohan has a red body with green hat and arms. Not even mentioning the one where he's blue. We'll get back to Gohan in a sec, but before that, Goku's boots are black again, but have white lines with a red tie now. Then, the iconic green scouter Raditz sports was actually blue in the manga. And a while after that, we get Vegeta's accurate color scheme, which the anime almost completely changed. But when the Saiyans arrived on Earth, they corrected it. Along with Vegeta though, Goku's ever-shifting boots now have white lines with a white tie. Okay, back to Gohan. What if I told you Saiyan Saga Gohan's gi was green? 'Cause it was. Now, I'm sure this is somewhat contentious. No, he wore purple just like Piccolo. Well, my assumption on this is that the original intent was for Gohan's gi to be green, just like how his original outfit was pure green. But at some point, Toriyama changed his mind, because he would eventually put purple Gohan on the volume cover, along with several appearances on Weekly Shonen Jump. It's not until the arrival on Planet Namek though, that we actually get an appearance of purple Gohan in the manga itself. However, if you've actually seen the show we're talking about, you would know that Gohan's original gi was destroyed during the Saiyan Saga, meaning this new one isn't the one made by Piccolo, but something we have to assume Gohan acquired in the days before he left. So you could argue that Gohan's original gi from the Saiyan Saga was green, but was destroyed, and the one Gohan made himself was purple to honor his master. Going back a bit, in the same part as green Gohan, we see blue Yajirobe. I'm guessing Toriyama just forgot what color Yajirobe's outfit was, but you could argue it's just a different outfit. Jumping into the Namek arc, we see Dende was originally wearing a green jacket, but the anime changed it to purple. Okay, Frieza. This one is pretty interesting. In his first full color appearance, his face and hands are pink, while the lines along the side of his face were actually brown, just like the bits on his arms and legs. Now in the anime, he has a white face with pink face lines, but I wouldn't call this a random change from the anime, because we see that color scheme on both a Shonen Jump cover and on the long volume side image. But even after that, when Frieza eventually calls the Ginyu Force, we see that he is once again changed. Now his skin is pink again, but the face lines are a darker pink instead of the brown from before. He sends the Ginyu Force to take out our gang, and that results in Ginyu taking over Goku's body. In that section, we see Goku's boots have finally been restored to their original appearance, with red lines and a yellow tie, and from here on they stay that way. Along with Goku's boots, Ginyu's scouter was yellow, not green. Moving on, our next section isn't until the appearance of Final Form Frieza, where we see Krillin's Frieza Force tights were blue, not black like in the anime. And after that, we get the infamous Super Saiyan transformation, which had a few weird developments in the anime, like how they didn't know what it looked like during the Lord Slug movie, so they just did their own thing. Or, when during the development of the Cooler movie, they almost gave it red eyes, which would have been really weird, since we actually got a full color page with Super Saiyan before the limited palette section where he had red eyes. Leading into the next arc, the Android arc is where the anime finally switched Goku's inaccurate boots to the proper ones with red lines and a yellow tie. Meanwhile, in the manga, we get this shot of the gang, and this is the first appearance of purple-haired Trunks. This is accurate to both the anime and manga. So it's all good, right? Well, no, because Trunks' hair is only purple to match his mother Bulma, the issue being that Bulma's hair is blue in the anime, so now it doesn't match. Due to this, we would get several color pages, as well as a volume cover, with blue-haired Trunks, but it would then swap back to purple later on. And of course, as you might expect, this is why we get blue-haired Trunks in the Super anime, that causes a host of its own continuity issues. Now amidst Trunks and Bulma's ever-changing hair, we get this page that shows Perfect Cell, and in this page, along with this other Shonen Jump cover, we can see Cell has purple flesh between his joints. I point this out because many people think that part of Cell is blue in the manga, and the anime got this detail wrong, but that is not actually the case. The manga originally made them purple and would only change them to blue later on during the fight with Gohan. In that same section, we see a page showing the different stages of Gohan's life, and for the 5th time, his original outfit has a completely different color scheme. And finally, we move on to the Buu saga. I want to save the big one for last, so we can start with Goten, Mr. Satan, and Buu. Buu is mostly consistent, but in one page, Buu is drawn with blue gloves and boots, but everywhere else he's consistent. Alternatively, it seems like Toriyama can't decide on what color Mr. Satan wears. He switches back and forth between a purpley brown and gray several times. And of course, there's Goten, who consistently wears orange with all of his other parts being black, but the anime changed them to blue like his father. Finally, I'm actually really excited to cover this. You know how Supreme Kai has his original manga colors in Daima? Well, actually, he doesn't. The anime actually does faithfully adapt Supreme Kai's color scheme from the manga, and for the entire run of the manga, all of the Supreme Kai outfits we see are the exact same color, from our main Kaioshin to Old Kai, to even Gohan when he wore it. So if the anime version of Supreme Kai is actually manga accurate, why does he look like this in Daima? Well, remember all of the stuff I said about how the manga was released at the start of this video? We originally got the tankobon, which was its original release outside of Weekly Shonen Jump, but it lacked all the color. Then, from 2002 to 2004, they re-released the manga in the Kanzenban, which included the color pages. This release came out 8 years after the series concluded, but for each volume, Akira Toriyama did new art for the front and back for each volume. As you likely suspect, that is where the color scheme for Dragon Ball Daima originates. You might say, well, Toriyama decided to change it, so that's the official color scheme now. Well, if that's how you feel, then let me share with you some other official changes Toriyama made to these covers. Like Kid Goku from the start of the series wearing brown and black, or Tao Pai Pai in yellow and blue. We see Kid Goku wearing the outfit he stole from Shu, but in the manga, we see that Shu's outfit was all black, so not quite the same. Raditz's outfit is now more yellow than the brown he originally had, and his blue scouter has changed to green. While we see Blue King Kai, which is actually Blue King Kai's first manga appearance ever. I only found 2 color pages including King Kai from the original run, one being from the long image on the side of the volumes, where he's white and is wearing green with yellow arms, and the second, where we see him next to Brown Korin. This time, he has essentially the same clothing, but he's pink now. After King Kai, we get Yellow Dodoria, and this Dr. Gero with a white undershirt. After him, we see Mr. Satan, and because we never saw Mr. Satan in color during the Cell Saga, this is our only point of reference for his outfit in that era. Following him, we get the cover with Supreme Kai. But strangely, on the back side, we see that Deborah and Babidi have also been changed to be wearing white and black, followed by another cover with all of the Kais, and Gohan wearing the Kai outfit, all changed to this new color scheme. So I think it's perfectly reasonable for you to assume this is the manga color scheme of Supreme Kai. But if you think that, then start of series Goku was canonically wearing brown, and Dodoria was yellow. Not to mention, the same cover with Daima's Supreme Kai colors also changed Babidi and Deborah's colors on the backside, but both of them appear in their original color scheme in Daima, instead of the version from this cover. So I personally choose to say, Supreme Kai's Daima colors were a bit of an oversight. Alright, that was a lot of colors. It's interesting how the colors changed as we went along, and I'm shocked by how many of these I was unaware of before making this. I totally understand that a lot of these were minor, and Toriyama probably just didn't really care that much, but I thought it was a pretty interesting topic to go over, and hopefully you thought so too. As an artist, I'm a big fan of color theory and such, and I love most of the color choices from the Dragon Ball series. So all I have to say is I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.